If you're in my house, I do not know you. You were not invited. What I do to you is whatever is necessary to make sure that my family is safe. Here's Rebel News talking about it, and they're talking about obviously Castle Doctrine, Castle Law, which you and I both agree with, but here is Rebel News.
I have an emergency announcement for you. This morning I saw a crazy news story that a homeowner in the town of Lindsay, Ontario was asleep at night at 3 a.m. and someone broke into his house. There was an altercation. Police came and they charged the homeowner with assault and other serious crimes. The homeowner who was defending himself. I couldn't believe it. I put out a tweet saying, if anyone knows this man, have him email me immediately and we will help him. Someone showed that email to him, that tweet to him, and he got in touch with me. And I just got off the phone with him. His name is Jeremy McDonald. And I'm not going to talk about the details that we spoke about, other than to say the person who broke into his home is a serial criminal, well known to police. It is astonishing to me that we do not have what's called the Castle Doctrine here. You break into someone's home, their home is their castle, and you do so at your own risk. For police to charge him is an upside down version of morality. We've got to help him. I talked to Jeremy, and here's what we agreed to do. Number one, we're setting up a website called castlelawnow.com. It's a petition to petition the government to strengthen our rights to self-defense in our own homes. Imagine someone breaking into your home and you're the one who's charged with assault for defending it. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a petition at castlelawnow.com. The second thing we're going to do, because we're called Rebel News, is we're going to report the hell out of this story. We're going out there right away to get the lay of the land. We're not going to put Jeremy in a pickle by having him say anything on the record before trial. We want to preserve all of his rights and we don't want to interfere, but we want to report on this and the bizarre police decision to charge him. We also want to show you the nature of the guy who home invaded his house. You know, a few weeks ago, Premier Doug Ford
Hold on, let me go back because this is important. I'm just going to make it bigger here. So a 41-year-old Lindsay man intruder was already wanted by the police at the time of the incident for unrelated offenses, and has since been additionally charged with possession of weapon for dangerous purpose, break, enter, and theft, mischief under 5,000, and failed to comply probation. So cream of the crop individual right there.
And possession of a weapon. So he had a weapon. He brings a weapon into the guy's house. The guy presumably does not have a weapon. I believe there is a weapons charge, which means he probably took it from the guy.
Or no, I believe it. I saw places not. That's a problem. People don't seem to be reporting in the same way everywhere. Because I read somewhere, because I know a lot of guys that are talking about this. I know a lot of people that are gun activists. So obviously they're talking about Castle Doctrine. But I saw a knife somewhere. And my understanding is that one of them had a knife. And I think that the owner went to his kitchen and grabbed one. That was my understanding. I might be completely misinformed here. And please, in the comment, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that is what I read somewhere. And that's where the aggravated assault are coming from. But let's just finish the video because let's see if he talks about it. But I have the original post that he used at the beginning from CBC. I have him on my on the next tab. So we'll look at it afterwards.
Okay. You know, a few weeks ago, Premier Doug Ford had his own property violated. Someone was trying to steal a vehicle right off of his land. Now, luckily for him, there was a police car there. He's the premier. But what about ordinary people who can't have a police car parked at their door every day?
4 thugs come racing down my street, masks on, ready to take the car out of the driveway. Surprise, surprise, at 12:30, the 2 police cars are there. The chase is on.
Boy, that's
so they chase him. One guy runs out, takes off. They capture him, and they catch these other guys. But just imagine all the unfortunate people that don't have security there at their house with masks on, and they had all the tools ready to break in and everything, you know. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to be back out. Why don't you guys come over for a barbecue tonight?
We have to deliver this petition to Doug Ford the police force, the provincial government, and the federal government. I am sick of this crime.
Okay, blah 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 blah. It's
before
very
we get
hard
to the
for me to
story,
listen to this
what-
guy for too long.
What's the deal with this guy? Because I'm seeing in the comments, does he have a bad reputation or something? Is he
Ezra?
Not, yeah, I don't like. I
Ezra
know the
Levine?
name, but I don't know who he is though, or what
Oh,
his
he-
deal is.
Well, he's the guy that started Rebel News.
Okay.
It's like there's a few things that he's done that, like he's helped. Remember Derek Reimer? Rebel News has set up a fund for him, and they ended up paying most of the. I think it's 200 grand. If I remember correctly, that Derek Reimer said that he's paid. So they've done some good stuff. I just can't stand the way he talks. He's very over the top, but
very sensationalistic.
Sensationalistic, that's the term right there. He's just kind of annoying if you ask me, but there's hold on, I gotta share this. I just want to show, this is the original article from CBC that they were talking about yesterday. So, man charged after allegedly assaulting home intruder in Lindsay. How insane. Just the title is insane. They're literally making it sound like the homeowner did something wrong. Not intruder assaults homeowner with weapon. No. Man charged after allegedly assaulting a home intruder. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they're making it sound like the victim in here is the intruder.
That's wild, man. I don't.
This is where I was talking about. Police say the resident is facing charges for aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. So I heard the weapon, and that's allegedly what I'm talking about. But I heard that the weapon in question is a kitchen knife, which that would make sense.
Yeah. You break into my home, man, and I'm going to use whatever is in my disposal, and I'm going to keep going until you are incapacitated. Like, what do they not understand? This is one of those weird things where if you actually went out and polled real people, do you support some version of Castle Doctrine? The vast majority of people would support it, and why? So why don't we have it? You know what I mean? It's like the whole justice system has inverted who they care about. Why are you caring so much about the criminals who are breaking into people's homes? Like, yeah, I mean, if you've knocked the guy out and he's there and you've tied his hands, you can't go and slit his throat or something. I'm all for that. But in the heat of in the moment, it's like, it's so insane that the calculations they expect you to take, you're expected to, in a second, assess exactly the risk that this person's posed to you, and then only apply exactly equal amount of, and that's not how it works. Who wants a fair fight when your wife and kids are in the bedroom? And if you go down, there's nothing between you and them. I don't want a fair fight. I want an absolutely overwhelming advantage in that. And I'll use whatever it takes. It's such a nonsensical thing. And this is the kind of story that infuriates any right thinking person. I don't care where you sit on the left or the right. Or on the political spectrum. But yes, I mean, there are a lot of insane lefties who think this is a good thing. They're so obsessed with protecting the feelings of everyone else but the people who matter. You know, if you're a criminal, well, we got to protect you. We got to protect your feelings. It's just a complete inversion of values. And that's frankly what my critique of the far left is right now, is just a complete inversion of values. They're valuing the things that should not be valued, and they are harming the things that should be valued. And it's infuriating, this kind of story.
Like, you just read here, and it's the same story. Remember the guy around Toronto too that had people try to steal his car, and he shot at them. If you look at all those self-defense / intruder / protection of your property, they always come up with the same narrative. So it's reported here, while people do have the right to defend themselves and their property if they believe they are facing a threat under Canadian law, those rights are not unlimited in Canada. That's a police officer. The law requires that any defensive action be proportionate to the threat faced.
Bullshit.
This means that while homeowners do have the right to protect themselves and their property, the use of force must be reasonable given the circumstances. I absolutely love how they think that in the heat of the moment
You're
you
going to be able.
ascertain this. I can tell you with 20 years of experience, I would not be able, or nor would I want to even
No.
consider those things. If you're in my house, you were not invited. I do not know you. You, sir, are screwed.
Mm-hmm.
What I do to you is whatever is necessary to make sure that my family is safe. And if you step into my house uninvited, you, sir, have surrendered your life.
You have to assume the worst. You have to assume they're coming there to kill you. Whether they are or not is irrelevant. The fact is you are in my house. I have to assume the worst. And therefore, even under the wording of that law, if I genuinely believe or assume that you're here to kill me, then there's almost nothing I can do that would be not proportionate. You know what I mean? If I assume or expect the worst, and it's just like you said, anyone who says those things like, oh, the force must be exactly proportionate, has never been in any kind of a fight or any sort of dynamic situation like this. There simply is no making that assessment in any kind of real time. And because you're missing key information. Specifically, you don't know what the guy's intentions are. Are you supposed to sit down and interview him? Okay, what's your intentions here in my house? Are you planning to rape my wife and kill my kids, or just steal my things? You know what I mean? That no one. It's insane to expect anyone to do that in the heat of a moment, in a highly dynamic situation, a high risk situation. You know, it's like that. What's the guy who was on the subway? He got charged with murder.
Daniel Penny versus Neely. Yep.
Yes, that's right. Same thing. Like in the heat of the moment, he can't know exactly, how to. Like he clearly did not try to kill that guy, but the guy through his own fault, through his own decisions, found himself in a situation that was highly dynamic, highly unpredictable on both ends. And Daniel Penny applied what I believe was proportionate force to the situation. And the guy happened to die because he was, a junkie and cracked out, and his body was probably on the way out anyways. But it's the same mindset. And it's again, it's this sort of insane, far left woke logic that is seeping its way into all of our institutions. It's infecting our law. It's infecting policy. It's infecting the way people think. And I've said before, I always kind of laughed when Elon Musk said, woke mind virus, but I thought it was kind of a cringy, silly term to use. But when you really think about it, it's a pretty excellent description to describe this phenomenon of, what we're talking about here. All right, we'll take a couple comments here.
Before you do, actually, just let me show you this here, because I just found a comment by Doug Ford. So basically, CTV News reports that Doug Ford commented on the incident, saying that people should be able to protect themselves in their own home. Something is broken. You should be able to protect your family, and someone's going in there to harm you, your family, and your kids. You should use all resource you possibly can to protect your family, and maybe these criminals will think twice about breaking into someone's home. That's
the right thing. It's the right
word. But he's so full of shit because he supports Carney, and as we're going to talk in the next story, Carney's government is putting a gun buyback program. So that there is more banning of firearms that are coming. So the thing is this drives me nuts about politicians. They say something on one side to address the story like they're a conservative, but remember the video I showed you yesterday from Doug Ford saying that he's not going to sit down with Pierre Poilievre, and he said the message he had for Pierre Poilievre is do what Carney says because it's better for Canada. Like, bro, like, no, you can't play both sides like that and expect us to take you seriously. You can't tell me on one side that you need to have all the rights that you possibly can have in order to defend yourself and your family, and then turn around and say, I support what Mark Carney does. Well, his government and the liberal government prior to him have banned like 2,000 fucking firearms. Like, I'll go over the numbers afterwards, but that drives me absolutely nuts. Like, I don't understand how they can flip-flop like that, and people,
and also to say those things as if you're just some guy in a coffee shop complaining, instead of the freaking premier of Ontario, where you actually can do something about it. Like, it's not, it's like, you know, it's like the guy throwing his hands up, oh, only something can be done. But something can be done. A law could be passed. Castle Doctrine law is pretty well established certainly in some states. So just basically copy paste what they've got over there, maybe adjust it to Canadian law or whatever, and and Bob's your uncle.
See, this is interesting because you're right that in certain states, most states in the US have some type of castle law, some type. But I'd be curious to know if Castle Doctrine could be implemented on a provincial level, because obviously on the federal level it ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
But I would be very curious to see if a provincial government could say Alberta.
That would actually, I'd love to have like a lawyer or something, because I don't know enough about the specifics. I have some vague understanding that the states have more power than the provinces do in general. That is, the states are often able to, pass laws on their own that will stand in a way that the provinces can't necessarily do up here in Canada. But I don't know about this specific issue. It seems like it would be easy enough to now, I guess, because the Canadian code of criminal code is federal legislation, you probably couldn't write a piece of legislation at the provincial level that would override that. But I don't know. I also don't know if the Criminal Code of Canada even says these things, or if this is just how the law is applied. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. It'd be interesting if we had
if only I knew an organization of lawyers that I could contact to see if they know someone. I'm already writing an email right now as I'm saying it. I'm like, why don't we? Could it be done on a provincial level? Because you have no excuses now. Dougie Ford would have no excuse if he's capable of doing it on the provincial level. You could do it.
And even if it wouldn't be, say, legal or it would get overturned later, you still do it anyways, because it starts the conversation, right? Like, make them defend themselves, make them, be out there and publicly say, no, you can't do this, because this is one of those things that the vast majority of people, if you actually just ask them, should you have the right to defend yourself in an unlimited way if someone breaks into your house? Because that's the thing that really gets me, right? It's not like there's some ambiguity, like there's a fight walking downtown on the street and one guy says he was attacked, but you don't really know. Like, just the fact that the intruder is in that house tells you everything you need to know. He made a decision. He made a decision to go into your house. If, as far as I'm concerned, once you decide that, if someone gets arrested for breaking and entering, I don't think they should get the death penalty of the government. But that said, if in the act of breaking in, the guy defending himself,
they face the death penalty,
kills you. If he kills you, then that is just an unfortunate consequence of your own actions.